right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hey guys, and happy Thanksgiving. Welcome into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host, Cassidy Wood, joined by the amazing, the wonderful Suzie Cool. Guys, you're spending your Thanksgiving night with me and Suze. Just how lucky are you? Just such a great night. Suze, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Cass. There's nowhere else I would rather be other than maybe horizontal on my couch right now. However, the fact that I get to spend Thanksgiving night on TV with you, hey, things could be a lot worse, so I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Now, speaking of being horizontal on the couch, I feel like a lot of our viewers probably did just that for most of today, watching those NFL games that we did have today. We did have 3. Started off really hot. It was really exciting. The Lions and Bears game, that one came down to the final seconds, and really it was just Matt Eberflus kind of fumbling it there at the end. I mean, no one thought that this game was going to be as close as it ended up being. I think the Lions were favored by 2 possessions, maybe more. And it just, I was very shocked to see them able to run up the score, 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter like they did. But yeah, then they were driving 35 seconds left on the clock. The Bears had it at the 40-yard line, and they had a timeout, and they just didn't use it. The clock started running down. Caleb Williams steps back, launches it, an incomplete pass. You know, they had time to call a timeout there, maybe try to kick the field goal, push the game into overtime. But unfortunately, just a bad clock management yet again. The Bears fall yet again. And the Lions, I mean, they're 11-1 right now. First time in franchise history, by the way, that they start a season 11-1, so pretty impressive.
And that's what I was going to say. I think that's what took everybody by surprise about this game today. Between the Lions and the Bears, I remember us talking at the beginning of the season for the Steelers, and I said, you know, the Lions are going to be, you know, possibly a Super Bowl contender this year. They're good. Don't overlook what the Lions have put up, and now they're 11-1 on the season. So the fact that the Bears made it as close as they did to kick off that Thanksgiving Day action, I think everybody got the show that they kind of wanted here today.
Yeah, I mean, that one was really exciting. And then, you know, you have the Cowboys and the Giants. That one seemed like it would be a snooze fest. It started out as one, and then, I mean, it kind of came down late, 27-20. The Cowboys walk away with the win. Giants, I mean, they're just struggling right now. They let go of their quarterback in the middle of the week last week. They have Tommy DeVito right now, and, you know, he's trying to hold his ground, but the Giants are kind of a dumpster fire right now. Really, both New York teams, the Jets as well, are kind of in that same boat. And then right now, the Packers and the Dolphins are playing, and the Packers are just putting a beat down on them, 27-3. I thought that game was going to be a little bit closer because of Tua, but unfortunately, it looks like the Packers are running away with it. But I mean, the Packers are also a sneaky team this year. Jordan Love, like, we didn't really know what to expect out of him this year, but he's really been impressive.
Yeah, I think it's just been a good day of football for Thanksgiving, and not just the action on the field, but also during halftime as well. Can we talk about some of the halftime performers
Heck
today?
Yeah.
I mean, Shabuzi for game
Love
1.
Shabuzi.
Lainey Wilson for game 2. Lindsey Sterling for game 3. I did miss Shabuzi's performance. I did see Lainey Wilson, though, and Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Jelly Roll made an appearance, too. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was so much fun to watch. I mean, Shabuzi, anytime he performs live, it's just great.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to see him, like, in the Super Bowl or something like that soon. But now let's talk about the team that everybody around here loves dearly and really wants to talk about, because coming off of this loss in Cleveland, tough loss. I did predict that it would happen, I will say, to my own horn on that one. I just thought, honestly, against the Ravens, they were just too lucky in that game, to be quite frank. And I just knew they had to drop one of these divisional games. And Suze, like I said last week, wouldn't you rather have it be this game than be the second Browns game down the line and ruin that momentum?
I mean, I do agree with that. I was hoping that they took all 4 divisional games. I think that's really, really high hopes as they were heading into that really tough stretch, especially after the game against the Ravens. I mean, you look at that, that's another offensive game where Chris Boswell is putting up all your points. So what's going on there? And then you go in this game against the Browns, everybody thinks, you know, the Steelers are going to win, but I said the Browns are a sneaky team at the beginning of the season. And look at what they did last week. And then the weather was absolutely incredible and played a factor in that game as well. It almost just looked like the Steelers weren't ready to take on the Browns, and they need to be ready to take on the Bengals this weekend because the Bengals are still in playoff contention too.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, the Bengals are not what their record says. I believe they're 4-7 still right now, 4-8, bottom of the division, but their record does not depict this team. I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are one of the strongest 1-2 punches on the offensive side, really in the league. They're leading the offensive statistical categories and across the board pretty much. And, you know, Joe Burrow threw 5 touchdowns in that loss to the Ravens, and the Steelers beat them somehow without throwing one, without even getting into the end zone once. So that goes to show you just how much of a high-powered offense this is, and the only way the Steelers are really going to be able to hang with them is if they can turn on the Jets on the offensive side. And I think one of the people that they're really going to have to utilize this week is, and we said this on every blade of grass this week, George Pickens. This is going to be the game for him because the Bengals' pass defense is ranked 24th in the entire NFL. So if there's any game for Russell Wilson and George Pickens to connect, it's going to be this game against the Bengals. And they do have a connection. George Pickens seems much happier with Russell Wilson under center. He's just getting a lot more action. However, we haven't seen him in the end zone as of recently. Yeah, and another thing, too, they need to clean up is that red zone on both sides of the ball. Red zone offense needs to get better. 1 for 2 in Cleveland, then 0 for 4 against the Ravens. That's not okay. Also, as we mentioned, as Jerry and Richie mentioned earlier, they need to be able to convert those short yardage and be able to capitalize on those short yardages as well. Also, the red zone defense really struggling. I think, you know, they're giving up like 90% touchdowns inside the red zone right now. So definitely need to fix those red zone issues on both sides of the ball. But we are going to head to break real quick. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We want to hear from you guys. Welcome back. This is your GMC Sierra tweet of the night by Brooke Pryor, the one and only. Steelers OC Arthur Smith said he had a preliminary call with North Carolina about the head coach opening, but that's part of the wide net that's cast in coaching searches. He emphasized he's personally and professionally happy in Pittsburgh. Now, North Carolina fired their head coach Mac Brown on Tuesday. He will be coaching in that regular season finale on Saturday against NC State, but he is out. And I think it was more of a courtesy call more than anything probably to Arthur Smith, just because, I mean, he played on the offensive line there in the early 2000s. His coaching career started there in 2006. So I think it was more so a courtesy call, them just reaching out, seeing if he would maybe want to come down there. But I mean, Arthur Smith said, you know, there's no price you can put on personal and professional happiness. And he just said he's really happy here in Pittsburgh, which is really nice to hear.
Not only is it nice to hear, but I also think that's a really cool perspective for people that, you know, maybe aren't in the business. Like, you don't see that, right? You think, why wouldn't he take a head coaching position? Sometimes your happiness and your well-being and your mental state comes above a title at some points in your career. And Arthur Smith is, you know, a long way down in his career. Does he want to take on another head coaching position? He's already been in that saddle down in Atlanta. So the fact that he recognizes that and he realizes how happy he is here in Pittsburgh, and he's done a pretty good job leading this team. So why would he want to ruin that and have to go back into that head coaching position if he's enjoying himself here?
Yeah, I think he also has just such a surrounding cast right now. Like, I really do think the Steelers offense can be something magical once they get everything clicking. I think we have yet to see them really at 100%. Yet. And so, I mean, Mike Williams scored that game-winning touchdown in Washington and hasn't touched the ball since. I think once they figure out how to maybe implement him more in the game plan will be huge. And look, that's a lot of fun tasks for any, you know, offensive coordinator to have. I mean, he has a lot of freedom with that offense, and I think he has a city behind him in a way that, you know, he can be really excited about. We are going to hit the phone lines, though. I do see a couple people calling in here. Let's go to Keith from New Kensington. Keith, you want to talk Steelers wide receivers?
Oh, hi. Thanks, Suzie and Cassidy, for taking my call. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, I was listening to you expound upon the tight ends and the wide receivers and how they play, which is good. My whole thing is, and I wanted to get your take, we have a lot of good, with the exception of Calvin Austin, which is 5'9". Most of these guys are like 6'2". They're real tall, and they're able to be real big targets outside of going deep. And I was wondering your take why Russell Wilson can't get to them more and create some red zone touchdowns and get wide open deep. I'll hang up and listen to you guys respond to that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking. But yeah, I mean, we've been talking about how that hasn't really been clicking yet. We have seen George Pickens make a couple, splash plays, couple of those long catches, but really hasn't gotten into the end zone. And like I said with Mike Williams too, I mean, he made that game-winning touchdown, and we really haven't seen him since. I do think the Cleveland game, it's tough to judge the deep balls off of a game like the Cleveland one, because it's near impossible to throw a ball 50 yards in those conditions. It just is. So I think it's tough coming off of this game to really judge, the air raid offense in that situation. And that's why I think too, this game in Cincinnati is going to be huge. And
it's my understanding too, Keith was asking about the tight ends, right? I
mean,
that
as well.
This has been something that you have said time and time again on every blade of grass. Yeah, Darnell Washington. I mean, we saw it. There was one play against the Ravens where he was just up the middle, and Russell Wilson
plowing through him.
Yeah, just rifles it at him, and he's so stinking tall, he can really get to anything. So why is Russell Wilson not using Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth as options if you're not always going to be going for George Pickens or Calvin Austin?
Yeah, I do think there's been a question mark with the middle of the field right now. I mean, I just don't think they're really utilizing the middle of the field very much like they should. I think, unfortunately, because of that drop pass in the end zone by Darnell Washington, I think that's always going to kind of be in the back of Russ's mind, unfortunately. So that stings, because I do think, like, he is 7 feet tall. If you throw a ball at him, he's going to make the catch no matter who is guarding him, no matter if 3 people are guarding him. Just throw it up and he'll make the catch. He didn't make the catch in the end zone. And I think that just kind of stings a little bit, but hopefully we do see them, used a little bit more in these upcoming games. Let's go to Joe in Verona. Joe, you want to talk Fields?
Yeah, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to you both, and I hope you had a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, listen, I was so shocked, and Jerry Dulap said the same thing tonight. Fields cannot be out in the field with 3:49 to go in crunch time and throwing a 40-yard pass when he didn't throw anything all night. You can't put that kind of a situation. You have to put Russell. And Smith has to start snapping out of this boring offense he does, and you can't be using Fields at all. You keep Russell in there. I don't even want to package, just like Capone said. So I was just upset with him in there with crunch time, so I'm sorry, but I was very upset with Smith and Tolman calling that kind of a play. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, and honestly, Joe, I don't think you're the only Pittsburgher out here, the only Steeler fan who has, issued that statement. I mean, I think a lot of people were very upset seeing Justin Fields go in that moment. Now, here's the thing, though, I will say. The question, too, he shouldn't have been in there in that situation throwing a deep ball that late in the game in crunch time. Shouldn't have happened. But I do think that, we talked to some of the players and stuff. The question, too, became, when you put Justin Fields in the game, does it ruin the momentum for the offense? Does it ruin that momentum? Well, in talking to the players this week at practice, they said no, because how it ruins the momentum for the offense is when there's a different voice in that huddle that you're not used to. Justin Fields started 6 games with these guys. It's not a different voice. They're very much used to hearing that voice. I think if they want to put Justin Fields in short yardage situations to try to get a first down in that third quarter, not in crunch time situations, but if they want to throw in there on like a 4th and 1 or whatever to try to get the first down, I could see that happening, and I don't think it would throw off the offense whatsoever. It would help them. But yeah, to call that kind of a play for a quarterback like that, it was pretty questionable.
And in that type of weather too. I mean, I think that plays a major factor. It's 3:49, it's crunch time, then you're putting him in a situation that, you know, that's not his specialty. That is Russell Wilson's specialty, 40-yard passes, right?
Right.
So why are you making that decision? I mean, I get that they're on the sideline with heaters over them, jackets over them. He's, you know, doing the ample warm-up that he needs to. However, to go in that type of weather, that still is hard to make that perfect pass, especially if that's not your type of game.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll see. We'll see if he gets in there. You know, we'll see if there's a package for him this Sunday in Cincinnati and how he's used, if at all, on Sunday. But we are going to head to break, and you guys give us a call, 412-575-2600. We have a little bit more Steelers to talk when we come back. But we are entering winter, and it is Thanksgiving night, so we definitely wanted to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving in our final 2 minutes here on the Nightly Sports Call. Suze, first and foremost, I want to hear, what's your one-of-one favorite side dish?
My one-of-one?
Your one-of-one.
You're making me choose one. You know I love food.
I know. That's
Tiny
why
person, but loves food.
Hitting you with the hard question.
Okay, I'm going to go stuffing, and it's got to be my mom's stuffing. My brother tried to make stuffing today, and he brought it to the house.
I tried it. You brought me some.
No, you tried my mom's.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, you not tried my brother's.
Good.
And I felt bad, but I had to be honest. I was like, it's not mom's. It's not mom's.
Oh my gosh.
What about yours?
Yeah, that was very, very good. Honestly, I'm like indecisive. I'll go sweet potato casserole. I just love. Yeah, I love the sweet potato with the marshmallows on top. It's almost like a dessert, but you're cheating because you can like eat it for dinner.
So my mom made it for the first time ever today.
Oh, really?
And she was so excited, and my dad was so cute about it. I know he's back home watching this right now. And he's like, come on, everybody try it. And I got through a couple bites, and it was fine, but I feel like it is dessert in the middle of your dinner. And I can't mix that, which then brings me to, and how do you feel about this? Richie Walsh said, that pie is considered a Thanksgiving side, and I have not been able to sleep for like 3 days thinking about this.
I think Richie was just trying to ruffle feathers.
I think he's out here.
He had a whole story that he eats it like as he eats his meal.
Absolutely not. And I asked, I said, do you put it on the plate with everything else? And he said no. It's like,
it's not a side dish.
Then it's not a side dish.
You got to pile up the plate. Whatever you pile up your plate with, those are the sides.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Now, what about your favorite pie?
Oh, I'm going to go chocolate.
What was that?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yeah.
I'm going pumpkin. Honestly, that's why I love Thanksgiving. Give me some pumpkin pie. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on this Thanksgiving night, and I'll see you next week or tomorrow night.